Hey there, welcome to today's daily premium newsletter for May 29th, 2018. So today, the market had its single best day for the month of May, which could be a fitting end to a month of misery for crypto investors. Climbing an impressive 26 billion, some volume returned to the market, but not enough to crest the 20 billion per 24-hour mark, which is more of the volume we saw during the bullish action in April. Quite simply, until we see consecutive days of positive action, today might just simply be a reflexive bounce off the psychological 300 billion barrier. The biggest winners among the large caps are Cardano and IOTA. Cardano's action can be tied to the release of their KEVM, a stack-based machine which uses K and K framework on their testnet. IOTA's movement is tied to the release of their new user-friendly Trinity wallet. It's fairly similar to Neo's Neon wallet, as it was championed by the IOTA community and developed in sync with the IOTA team members. Meanwhile, EOS, Tron, and Verge all had challenging days for different reasons. For Tron, people were having jitters over the mainnet that will be launching this Thursday. EOS is also launching their mainnet this week on Saturday. But today, China's largest internet security company, Keyho 360, announced that it had found several high-risk, epic vulnerabilities in EOS's code. Dan Larimer, the head of EOS, and the rest of the EOS team were quick to move into action, but the damage had been done. Implications that EOS had a major security issue just days before its mainnet release were enough to send investors into a panic. Once the fix had been put into place shortly after being announced, Dan chastised Keyho for irresponsible reporting and intentional manipulation. Lastly, Verge was also the subject of price manipulation, as reports of a possible third 51% attack against the privacy cryptocurrency just a week after the second one was occurring. It later surfaced that no hack had taken place, and for the time being, Verge has only been compromised twice. So this is the state of the market and the larger space, where one tweet or article or post can move billions. It may seem ridiculous, but understand that this is what an unregulated space looks like. Speaking of regulation, the crypto market received good news today as South Korea's National Assembly, which had previously banned ICOs, has made an official recommendation to allow domestic ICOs in the country. Our position is that this will indeed go through, and the new regulations surrounding ICOs in Korea will be one that enforces without hampering legitimate projects. ICOs will have to go through an approval process, but it's been made clear by the Korean government that they intend to support blockchain innovation while rooting out criminal activity. Yes, it is concerning that limitations will be placed on what is and is not allowed to be considered innovation, but South Korea has shown that they have a very progressive approach to this, and they intend to get it right the first time. The larger implication of this is that once South Korea enacts their policies and they prove that their system works, other developed countries will follow. After all, they don't want to suffer brain drain of talented engineers and entrepreneurs who are building this space to other countries who are more blockchain friendly. This is also desperately needed as legitimate projects need to be able to succeed. As it stands, there is an astonishingly high failure rate in crypto. A report from the Chinese government has found that of the 80,000 blockchain projects launched since 2008, only 8% are being actively managed today. Of that 92% that failed, each lasted an average of 1.2 years before the project work completely stopped. We see this as the natural outcome of such an exploratory space. And the similarities to startup culture or the tech bubble of the 90s is striking. In time, we'll see the space coalesce tighter and tighter around projects that are deemed to be the best representations of their chosen sectors. Equivalents to how Apple, Google, and Amazon survived the gauntlet of the bubble burst and went on to become extremely successful companies. And so with that, I'll turn it over to Doc. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hey guys, it's Doc for ReadySetCrypto for Tuesday, the 29th of May. Big numbers across the board here. We're looking at 5.6% in Bitcoin. Ethereum is up 11% today. Ripple is up 10.6%. Bitcoin Cash 13.46%. We have about 3 hours left in the trading day, and so these numbers are probably going to stick. I doubt that they're going to change all that much in the next 3 hours. So across the board, we're seeing very strong numbers, and obviously this is some short covering. All right, should we be excited for this? Is this something that we need to give credence to? Now, remember what I talked about this weekend. I said, hey, watch out for things like bullish divergence on the MACDs. But when it comes down to it, we're not going to get too excited until it passes the following test. All right, so we're going to go from the daily chart down to the 4-hour chart. And this is where we're going to look at things like Bitcoin Cash. It's all about the trend line. So it's all about this trend line here. And so until we see the price really smack through that trend line and start to print a higher low. So what I'm talking about here is that we want to see the price below through these trend lines and then pull back to a higher low and then hold that higher low and then start to build on that. And that will mark the beginning of the next swing. We'll start to see all kinds of things on there, like we'll start to see oscillators cross, right? That will happen a couple of days after the actual cross. This is why price action is always the fastest way to identify these things. So a smash up through there, pull back to a higher low, and that's what we'll catch, right? So let's take a look and see how the last one occurred. So the last one occurred was, basically smashed through here, set up the higher low, and off it went. So you can see this swing. So getting a part of these swings is really what we're all about right now. This is about all we can do until we start to see the entire crypto market start to moon higher. So let's go over to Bitcoin itself. Let's look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is doing the same kind of thing here. And let's get that line trimmed up a little bit. Ways to go before we're breaking above that descending trend line in the 4-hour chart. So again, this is nice, a great start, and it maps in with the positive divergence that we saw the other day, but it's got a way to go before I want to play swings on some of these trades. Now, looking at the screener down here, if we look at the screener and say, let's show us what's working here. And right now we have like Bitcoin is going crazy right now. So we also have Nexus and Stellar. So Stellar is very, very strong right now, regardless of what currency we go against, right? So all of these. So this is useful to go through the screener and answer the question, what's really, really moving right now? And before I go, I am just so puzzled by this article down here. Like, what is this guy thinking? Where has this guy been over the last 5 months? I don't think after an 80% correction that we are in bubble territory anymore. Maybe overall, but man, let's get with the times here. All right, folks, that is it for today's report. Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow.